to order. This is our May meeting of the Eastham Finance Committee. This meeting will be recorded. You'll be able to see it on cable channel 18 or on the website www.eastham-ma.gov. This is a Zoom meeting pursuant to the emergency order of Governor Baker due to the pandemic. Okay, let's start with the minutes. I think everyone got them. The only correction I have, and I know Roy is just looking for all kinds of publicity, but he's down there twice on the meeting. So that we need to have his name, the first time it shows scratched off, and have it on the second time. That's the only change I have. Anybody else have any other names? Any other, not names, any other comments? So, Mary.
But going back to that, I think we should also note that both George and Rick were absent. I think we need to show when people aren't there.
Okay. All right. Yes. All right. Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Because when we have our votes, we don't come up with the 9 people, so people are wondering.
Right.
Story is. And I think we should also add Linda Culhane's name because she attended the meeting as a guest.
As a guest? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I have no problem with that. Anybody have any issues? All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion the minutes of April 28th be approved as amended.
Mary, do we hear a second?
Second.
Russ is the second. All right, we'll go on a vote here. We have Mary.
Aye.
Russ.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
George.
Abstain, I wasn't present.
Okay. Rick.
Abstain, I wasn't present.
Let's see, we got anybody, oh, Roy.
Aye.
I don't think we can count him. He wasn't sworn in.
But he attended the meeting, so he can, I thought he could attest that that's what happened at the meeting because he was in attendance.
Even though he wasn't sworn in as a.
Right, but he was there the entire meeting.
I don't know the rules about that.
I don't either. All right, we'll have Roy. Roy, to play it safe, how about abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay. And Jerry is a yes. So it is, they're approved 403. Okay, now, before we get onto the warrant articles, I wanted to, because of my grandson's birthday and might having to leave, I want to bring up, change the order slightly, 2 new business items. The first one is a question for Rick. It was Rich, I mean, not Rick, for Rich, and also would have been for Jackie. Back a year and a half or 2 years ago, Eastham did ask for the state to come in and do a financial audit. And I know we've seen it, I've seen it and so forth. It looks like it's, you know, they find little things here and there, but it looked pretty good. I would like to, I think, try and put that on the agenda for the coming fiscal year to discuss that audit. Rich, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
It'll tie in with, you know, things I got that I wanted to bring in front of you guys to discuss. So that'd be a great start.
Okay, so I will do that on an audit, do that for the next year if in fact I get reappointed and the chair will see, but that'll be something we'll try and do. The other is our next scheduled finance committee meeting would be June 9th, which is 3 days before the town meeting. And my personal view is I don't think we need to have that meeting. And wondering, anybody upset if we don't schedule a meeting for June 9th? No, okay. The
Jerry?
other,
Jerry,
yes,
um, in the past, there have been times when we've met just before the annual meeting and actually had to transact some last-minute business. Do you think it would be prudent to schedule a meeting of the committee, a half hour or 45 minutes before the start of the town meeting?
yeah, George, that was going to be my next point. To say, hey, what I'd like to do is schedule, I think a half an hour should do it a half an hour before the town meeting. So it's at 10 a.m. So at 9:30, we would meet at the football field. And if there's no change, sometimes there are motions that change or so forth, and we want to discuss and see where there's no change, I won't even call a meeting. So it wouldn't be recorded, but I think I have to notice it. So is that okay with all?
That's fine.
All right.
Good idea.
I'm done with my new business, so we can hit, Mary, you can do new business at the end. Let's go to discussion of the warrant articles. Now, warrant articles. Rich, other than the Article 12 and Article, 13A and B, are there any changes on anything we voted on previously?
I don't think so. No, if you'd like to bring the latest draft I sent out to you late yesterday up on the screen, if you'd like.
Yeah, yeah, sure, because we'll go to Article 12, which is the, what one's that one? That's the beach, driving on the beach during June, July, August, and September, for only the shellfish, for people going to shellfish warrants.
You seeing this okay, Jerry?
Yeah, yes, I can see it fine.
We discussed the rooms tax, correct?
Yeah, the room tax we voted on.
Right. Okay. Is the
There it
Article
is,
12.
going to be Article 12.
Article 12, yeah.
Right, so what Article 12 does is allows for an exception for no vehicles on the beach on the western shore of Eastham during the months of June, July, August, and September, with the exception is being added with vehicles necessary for aquaculture grant holder access who have met the conditions of the Conservation Commission and have been duly permitted to drive at times and in places designated by the town each year. So I understand this. I mean, we rent, there's more stuff to it. Oh, severability, yeah. People pay for these grants to the town, and in the summer they don't have the ability to bring their equipment and so forth out there because they have to drive on the beach. That's one side. The other side is most of them, I think, would go off of First Encounter Beach, which is a major money raiser for the town in those summer months. And I'd like to ask Rich what the consideration. I know that the select board voted unanimously for it. What considerations they had looking at that, trying to ensure, do they have any data or anything, how it will affect the beach revenues or anything of that sort?
I don't think we thought it, and I'll let Art speak for the board if you don't mind. But as far as the revenues, I don't think we're anticipating any huge impact. And as you indicated, it was times to be designated by the town, with the biggest concern, obviously, is tides, but beyond the tides, the people on the beach as to the timing, how many people would be there, who might be in the water. So obviously, we're trying to avoid peak times, which of course is when you have the parking as well, so.
Okay. This is it looks to me like the only change that can be done is by the Conservation Commission. It's not any, I mean, let's say the town says this is really disrupting First Encounter Beach revenues. Would we have to go through another warrant article, or is there some authority within the select board or something to take that into account and make some changes?
Yeah, I think that would probably be under the select board's purview. As you indicated, this bold section up here, the town designates the times. So I guess we could, severely restrict that if that's what the select board wanted to do.
Okay, that answers my questions. Anybody else have a question on this Article 12?
I do.
Go ahead, Mary.
Rich, I'm back on the beginning of it. Is there a cost? Are we charging a fee for registering, and is the permit annual or forever?
I don't believe it's a permit. I believe if you're a grant holder and you need access to your grant, this allows the grant holders to have that access.
Is under number A of the article, it says all vehicles registered, selectmen shall receive a permit.
Okay, yeah, I'm not particularly sure how that is anticipated to play out. I'm not aware that it was going to be another fee or anything associated with it. Other than, obviously, you have to let us know what vehicles you're bringing out there,
Yeah.
which would make sense for the registration of it.
Mary, it looks like A is current bylaw.
Right.
And so there was you had to get a permit to drive on the beach for anything other than June, July, August, and September. And I think that probably would still be the case. And this, the grant holders would meet the exception just in those 4 months.
Yeah.
June, July,
June,
August,
July,
and
August,
September. So,
yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
I think that gets by that. And of course, the grant holders have paid the town money for the grant. I think there's someplace down there. Yeah. Any other questions or comments or whatever? George?
No.
No? Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll go to, do I hear a motion to recommend? Remember, even if you oppose this, we still have to have, the motion is to recommend. Do we have a motion to recommend Article 12?
I move that we recommend Article 12 for approval.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Russ? Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. Mary?
Aye.
Russ?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
George?
Yes,
Rick?
Aye.
Roy?
Aye.
And Jerry's an aye, so that is a 7-0. Now we'll go down, Rich, if you can get us to 13, I think it's 13A. Voting
Yeah.
bylaw?
Yeah,
Yes.
13A is the pond portion of the bylaw.
voting bylaw.
Right, this is the one that puts up the maximum horsepower. Does it have the wake zones or anything?
This is the one that has to do with horsepower and water skiing on Great Pond.
Water skiing on Great Pond. Okay, yep. All right. I have a question on this one. Just to ask, what precipitated the idea of water, I'm not a water skier, so just water skiing is limited to even days, I think, on Great Pond. And the hours are 7 to dusk or something. What's the impetus for going to 10 from 7 a.m.? What caused that?
Well, of course, this isn't my area of expertise, but I'll do my best. And if perhaps Art might have some comment for the select board as well, but I think that was a bit of a compromise. They were there was some concern about the water skiing on the pond that came about as part of a review of the bylaw. The select board had a lot of water skiers coming out, and of course heard the opposite side as well about people that didn't want the water skiing. And so I think as part of a compromise of the select board to address the situation a little bit, that it was agreed that 7 a.m. Might provide some additional time for more pedestrian access or swimming without being the interruptions or the risk of the water skiing on the pond interrupting that. So they moved it from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And, a big part of the select board discussion was also to get some more data. And so as you recall in Article 4, there was an addition of $25,000 to provide for recreation, beach and rec department management of this, to provide for some monitoring, to get some data associated with this question, as well as perhaps some cameras that we could put at Great Pond and perhaps elsewhere to monitor it a little bit better.
Monitor and enforce it. Mhm. Is it, so people were concerned about swimming, but not in the designated swimming areas at Wiley Park
Right.
and at Great Pond?
Correct.
And the water skiers are okay with
No,
a 50 horsepower max?
yes.
Really?
All right, the issue, there's a number of issues that people said they wanted to use. They used the pond early in the morning for kayaking, paddleboarding, and swimming across the pond, okay? Outside the designated swimming areas. They said that the water skiers were a danger, created a danger, but there was no data or anything that said there had been an issue. They contended, the non-water skiers contended that the law wasn't enforced, that people were skiing on the days they weren't supposed to be skiing, etc. And there was a real push to say, don't let any water skiing on Great Pond. Okay? We would rather not have it there. And so Shana came up with a compromise to say, okay, we'll give you 3 hours in the morning for those people that want a quiet lake to swim, the paddleboard, kayak on the water skiing days. The 50 horsepower limitation was always there, I believe, Rick.
Yeah.
That was always there, and the water skiers have no problem with that. The water skiers were slightly upset because they contend, well, 2 or 3 years ago, we compromised and went to every other day water skiing. And now you want to take more time away from us. So the water skiers are not happy with it. The non-water skiers are, I think, in my opinion, are okay with it, but they would rather see no water skiing. So this was like a
Compromise.
compromise.
It's like gun control.
Well, what,
Yeah.
Art, did you ever think of getting rid of the every other day and just make it 10 to dusk or 11 to dusk every day?
No, prior to this, it was every day. Okay, prior to them changing the requirements 2 or 3 years back, it was every day. And for the non-water skiers, that's too much. They said, well, a lot of people have paddle boards now. When you made that agreement, it wasn't there. A lot of people kayak. I swim across the lake every morning. If you'll notice the vote was 4-1 by the select board. There was one person, me, who said, we don't have any data, okay? And I'm not comfortable voting for that change because we did agree that we would try and get some data. We would try and improve the signage. We would try and improve the enforcement of water skiing and see if there was a real issue. But the rest of the select board said we shouldn't wait for that data. We should go ahead with what we've got.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions for Art or for Rick?
I have a question, Jerry. What's the
Sure.
difference? What's the difference in the statement between 30-3, which is the first statement in it, and then the underlined one, which is number E under 30-5? To me, it's the exact same, saying the exact same thing.
No, what they're saying is all the other ponds in Eastham and lakes in Eastham are limited to 3 horsepower motors. Great Pond is the only one that you can have a 50 horsepower motor on. So that was just to clarify that all the other ponds, no more than 3 horsepower.
Okay, looks to me like it's the same thing, but okay.
By the way, I'm not advocating for you guys one way or the other. I'm just telling you what people said and how I felt about it, but. I think personally that this will probably get turned down at town meeting, but I don't know that. That's why it was segregated from the next one, 13B, which is the no wake. Okay, that was originally, if you'll remember, one article. But there was
Yes.
a concern because of this water skiing issue that if you put them together, the no wake would also get shot down. So that's why it was separated out.
Okay,
But I think that I think potentially this won't make it through town meeting, but I don't know, it might, you know, I don't mind. There were a lot of people on the phone that were really think this was a good thing to do, so.
yep. All right, any other questions or comments or discussion?
Jerry, it's Tom.
Yes, Tom.
Just wondering, do we know what the neighboring towns do relative to water skiing on ponds? Like what does Orleans do? Or there's a lot of ponds around. Just do they allow water skiing and or do they have restrictions? Is what is being proposed unreasonable, or I don't know if anyone knows the answer to that.
I don't know.
We didn't talk about the other towns. Now Shana would know, but
Shana might know.
we didn't
I
talk about.
believe the answer is that they're not allowed, but, and that's why Great Pond was such a big issue, because it's the one place that you could. But I can follow up with Shana and I'll email out the correct, the complete answer to you.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments or? All right, do I hear a motion on Article 13A to, and again, it has to be to recommend it.
I'll make the motion to recommend it.
All right. Do I hear a second? We got to have a second to vote on it. Okay, I'll second it. What the heck? Any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Mary,
No.
Russ,
Aye.
Tom,
Vote no.
George,
Yes,
Rick,
No.
Roy.
I'm going to abstain on this one. I'm not.
Okay, no problem. There's no problem. And Jerry is a no. So that is Mary's a no, Tom's a no, Rick's a no, Jerry. So it's 2-4-1. Okay. 13B, that's the one on the the no wake zones in the seashore and in our, by Rock Harbor and the Hatches Creek and et cetera. Anybody have any questions on those? All right. Do I hear a motion to approve 13, to recommend 13B?
I'll make that recommendation.
Tom, okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Russ, Any further discussion? Okay, we'll go to a vote. Mary,
Aye.
Russ,
Aye, excuse me, aye.
Tom,
Aye.
George,
Yes,
Rick,
Aye.
Roy,
Yes,
and Jerry's a yes. So that one is a
7-0.
0 in favor. Okay, anything else on the warrant? I have a question for Rich. Is there time, I don't know if this thing has gone to the printer, is there time to get our votes on this into the printed article?
Yes.
All right, then I have one other favor to ask.
Okay.
Can we add, and I think I'll try and get the lease to Lori, can we add Roy Maroli's name at the end of the signature block of the Finance Committee statement?
Yeah.
Since he now has, the town can blame him. We can picket his house and whatever. All right. Is there anything else on the warrant then? Okay. Then, wow, this is going to be a short meeting. Let's go, capital projects. We're next. I don't know if there's, Tom, do you have any more to let us know about the saga of Rock Harbor?
Yeah,
Yes, and it is a saga. You are right.
yeah.
Jackie isn't with us, and she probably has some things to add to whatever I'll mention to you, including some recent information. We had our last meeting on Monday, and I can tell you that the project has been submitted for review to the Board of Health, to the Conservation Commission, and to the Planning Board. The Board of Health gave it the okay, the current plan. The Conservation Commission, I believe they're about to give us their okay, but I think there was something else that had to happen. I wasn't in on those meetings, so I don't know. This is just what I heard from our CPC meeting on Monday. But it also went to the Planning Board, and the Planning Board did not give it the okay. The Planning Board, in particular, didn't like the proposed location of the building. And again, I'm not in on that, but it's just information that I've received. Otherwise, oh, here comes Jackie. Okay, she can probably elaborate. And yeah, it was apparently quite a meeting. There was an article in the paper about it. And I think I'll defer to Jackie to talk about the status of things at the Planning Board. Jackie, I was just giving them a brief update about the Rock Harbor project and that it had gone to the Board of Health, Conservation, and Planning Board. And I told them that Board of Health gave it the okay. Conservation, we believe, is about to give it the okay. I'm not sure when that next meeting is. But I told them there was some concern issue with the Planning Board. Do you, can you bring us up to speed? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, the project has had two official meetings with the planning board at this point. One was the first presentation and the second was a work session that we had. It is on the agenda for their next meeting, but we sort of reached on an impasse with the planning board because their only issue with the site plan was a major one. They wanted us to move the building back to its original location or close to it. And the town doesn't feel like that is the right decision to make at this point. We had had a long and robust public process to discuss the location of the building, and all staff, public safety, everyone has signed off on that location, and we were ready to proceed with it. So it looks like we will be formally withdrawing our petition from planning board review, and we also, we'll have to go back before the CONSCOM another time, but we did receive, Tom, the letter from Natural Heritage saying there's no taking of turtles, so we passed that hurdle with the state.
Jackie,
Yes, Russ.
is the issue with the planning board basically potentially safety because of the sight lines aren't good enough? Is that their reasoning?
That is what they are saying, yes.
Okay.
And I think it really comes from a great place, but a misunderstanding of the role of the harbor master and the natural resources staff, which is they're not going to be inside the building on peak times and hours anyway. But we've offered to put cameras on the ramp, to have more staff on the ramp and on the docks. It doesn't seem to be helping. They just are committed to moving the building.
So Jackie, does this stymie it totally? I mean, does the planning board, are we required to have approval from the planning board for the town to move forward on this? I mean, I don't know the legal steps, all the legal steps and what can and can't be done.
No, it's not a requirement for the building inspector to give us a building permit. We were not requesting a special permit, just
Okay.
site plan review.
All right, thanks. All right, any further questions on Rock Harbor? Okay, Jackie, is the police station all done now, or not? That's the next one.
Police station is all done, and we should schedule a visual, walkthrough. I'll have Adam do that for everyone so that you can see it.
That's great. I don't know if there's anything new on wastewater. I know Pete was at the building committee, so he's not here yet. I don't think he's joined.
I was at the latest capital projects meeting on wastewater, and so was Rich. So both of us are up to date, and we can actually send you the presentation that the consultants gave. I thought it was a nice, brief history of all that's happened in the past, probably more than a year or so. But the two biggest pieces of news are that the permeable reactive barrier test pits are functioning well, and already we can see a difference from the water testing. So that's excellent. I also understood from the town of Orleans that their PRVs are also doing well. So it looks like that technology is going to be really, viable. So that's one thing. So we are planning a future of more dealing with salt pond with the permeable reactive barrier technology. So they're researching where and how and when to put more of them in. And then the second big thing is that the National Park Service has replaced the septic system at the Salt Pond Visitor Center.
Oh.
But we saw sort of dramatic results just with COVID, having those bathrooms closed. So we're really, Jane's over the moon with, there's a new alternative system. It's functioning. So that's great. And they also received a lot of federal money, so they're going to be upgrading a lot of their facilities over the course of the next year or so, which is good news for us, of course, because we benefit from that. But
Right.
those are the two biggies around Salt Pond. And the third thing is we have started to receive the first drafts of the comprehensive wastewater plan draft. Or maybe it's the targeted wastewater watershed.
Yeah, TWNP.
Sorry. And we have reviewed those. Changes gone back to the consultant. And so we're working towards getting that draft done. It is probably, I want to say 6 months behind schedule now, but still, we're trying to catch up.
Right. Great. Thank you, Jackie. Any questions, for Jackie on wastewater?
No, not wastewater.
Oh, I should tell you one more thing. So the Cape Cod Water Protection Management Group did make a commitment to towns for future grants of up to 25% of funding for projects over $1 million. So that is something to keep in mind as we consider wastewater. You know, the first course of action is to get that watershed management plan, and then we will be eligible for SRF funding.
Wonderful. Good. I guess the next one, I guess, is Jackie, I'm sure you're on the hot seat again. The water project, any new issues? We still on time and ahead of time and under budget?
Yes, sir. Happy to report that is still going well. And I guess one of the things that we're trying to communicate to residents over the summer that I've asked for kind of a simple way to do that is, what are the roads that are being, it's really all about road paving now. That seems to be what people are more concerned with. We're over our 1,500 mark for hookups, and we have, I think, 179 pending. So it is fast and furious in phase 2. People, where we are going, people want to hook up to the water system. So it's great news. I think we're at a 38% hookup rate, which is awesome. So,
That's good.
So that's all good. But we're trying to figure out how to communicate to people what roads are going to be completed when, now that we're down to our last few contracts, and when phase 1 roads will be totally resurfaced as well. But it looks good in terms of being on track to do all of those things.
Jackie,
Yeah,
is that-
Go ahead, Russ. Go ahead.
Jackie, is that the reason that for the last couple of weeks that the weekly announcements haven't been out there?
No, we've been doing, I think it's some updates. We've been looking at some updates to the website, and we just learned that those aren't going out. So I don't know if we tweaked that when we were doing something else. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that we get out to the Board of Selectmen and through whatever communication channel, an official kind of list of all the phase 1 roads that will be, that we're going to complete. We just don't have a date for, and then the schedule for everybody else.
Yeah, I think that would be really welcomed by the population of the town.
Yes.
Yeah, Jackie, I've been trying to, I have 3 other neighbors that I've got agreeing to hook up to water along with myself as we move in. One neighbor asked, and I think I asked Rich, and maybe we want to publicize this more, a way similar to what we had for if someone has to upgrade their septic system, a thing for a loan from the town and a
Betterment program.
We have that.
betterment.
We have a
I know we
betterment
do.
program.
Yeah, and I think that we need, my suggestion, I'll say it right here, if people watch this, we do have a betterment program. You want to hook up and the costs are a little bit too much for you right now. The town will help you spread it across and put it on add it onto the tax bill over a period of time. And maybe we need, maybe with your announcements, you can say that again, Jackie, because there may be a few people who would do it, but they say, I can't afford to do it right now. And if they, and they lose, if they wait, they don't get the free water meter. So, and not that that's a crushing, but every penny helps.
Yeah, and I do think that a lot of contractors are mobilized and used to doing it right now. So probably you know, it's a good time to do it while everyone is doing them. Where, you know, 5 years from now, there might be 3 contractors doing it. I don't know, but.
Right, yeah, yes. And for all of you, anybody listening, get multiple bids because the numbers that I got for my bids were one almost double the lowest bid. So it's just, you know, go out, call people up. They'll give you the numbers. I think that's all I have on the on the water.
Mary had a question.
Yeah, Russ.
No, Mary.
Yeah, I do. I have a question.
Mary, sorry.
I have a question for Jackie. What's the story on the Nauset Estuary?
What's the story? How long of time do you have, Mary?
Well, we only have a few minutes because Jerry has to go to a birthday party.
Yeah, it's like a saga now. So a group of Orleans residents, fishermen, and commercial interests asked the select board in Orleans to consider dredging the Nauset Estuary. I want to say 2016, 2017, and they started to study it and spend some money on it. And then they asked Eastham to participate about 2 years in. And we were kind of reluctant partners, but we did agree to participate in some planning studies and have been doing that now firmly since 2018. So we're at the point right now where there is an actual shaped proposal for the dredge that now needs to start going through a permitting process. So we're beginning that part now. And that the first application is a Massachusetts EENF, so notice of intent kind of process that should take at least a year or more. And then there are, I believe, 8 other permitting processes, including a federal process with the seashore that will take anywhere from 18 months to 2 years. So there's a lot of permitting that it's a very, very complicated process. And we are asking for improvement dredging. So it is not technically a harbor that has been dredged before, which raises the bar in terms of the regulatory review because, you know, they're considering it. They are obviously, when you're applying for an improvement dredge, they're considering that a new condition. It's like building a new house. You don't get the grandfathering in of any conditions.
Well, maybe with the delay, we'll get a break in the spit there by Nauset Heights.
We pray,
Open
we
it up.
light candles, you know, we do everything we can.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Gary?
I guess.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jackie.
Russ,
Yeah,
Russ.
Jackie, I've just got my monthly question. What is the status of the marijuana shop opening up?
I have an answer tonight.
A positive one, I hope.
I hear through the grapevine that it is opening Saturday.
Oh,
Oh, good.
So Emerald Grove received their final inspections and I got the notice that they could open last week.
yeah.
And we're still waiting now for Salty Farmers. I think they're about at least a month to 6 weeks behind in the state permitting process.
Yeah, okay.
I toured Salty Farmer today. And they've got some more work to do on the inside of the building, but they have submitted their final permit requirement to the state, and they're waiting to hear back from them.
And just so you know the timeline of that, the one that's right on 28 that will open Saturday I think they submitted their final stuff to the state in early December of last year, and they just got approval 2 weeks ago. So it is just slow because
Wow.
they completed all their local approvals. We were totally done their permitting process. And then it just kind of came to a grinding halt for a few months.
Right. I think Russ didn't ask what time they're opening because he wants to be the first in line, but, you know, I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I haven't gotten the official.
No.
unless,
Yeah, no.
unless they're selling wine, Jerry, no.
Unless it's right, yes, okay. Or you never know, Russ, you never know. All right,
I have another
Jackie, do you have any?
I have another
Yeah,
question.
Mary. Yeah, yeah, Mary.
Yeah, and in the article on the town for Brewster, their warrant, they have an Article 27 that's asking the Brewster Select Board to ask the Nauset Regional School District to reduce the costs of the school choice program, freeze the number of school choice students in the district, and add no new ones for the next 7 years. If that passes in Brewster, what does that mean?
It doesn't bind them. The only entity that can decide those things is the Nauset Regional School Committee.
Right. So I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish here. Russ?
Want to end the school choice
I
program.
think it's,
Yeah.
I think it's basically a political statement and no more, no less than that. And I think we'll see more of this type of thing over the next year from one of our political parties, that they're trying to change the stuff in public education.
Yeah, well, it's clearly, it's one of the things they're probably, Mary, want to push into, to put a marker down, try and see it and push it every year.
Mhm.
One of the things when I worked on the Hill, I was asked, well, when we were trying to prevent something from happening, when does this end? And I said, it ends when we lose, because they're going to keep pushing it up. So I think this is something we're going to see. It's an attempt, likely we might start to see some things like this coming up in Eastham or in Orleans, although the percentages on the school building were pretty high in Eastham and Wellfleet, where it was only, at least it was 59 or something % in Brewster. So that's going to happen. I mean, you use it, you make a statement with it, and that's what they're doing.
But it's financially unsustainable. It makes absolute no financial sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're not worried about that at this point. Anyway,
Barry,
any more?
Yes, Tom is gonna come.
Tom,
just a comment. I believe Orleans has something similar planned for their town meeting.
oh, do they?
Yeah, I think so,
Interesting.
which is coming up fairly soon.
All right. Well, we'll see, and we will end up reacting and see where, because I think the vote in Eastham was pretty strong, so we'll see how that goes. Anything else? I guess we've got a kind of a report from Jackie on this, so any other questions? She's on the hot seat. You can ask her a question. Go ahead.
Well, hey, I just want to make one comment to Rich, and this really has no meaning for the town, but thank you for the 90-page warrant article. It was a learning experience for me last night at about 5:45. I, printed it out. I got my stapler out, put it on the table, and this resulted. This is the length of my table.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Oh, no.
This is the way it goes. All right, Russ. Good.
Because of the warrant?
Because in order to staple 90 pages, you've got to put your full weight on it. And I happen to put it right over the stanchion to my left, and boom, all of a sudden I'm holding the table up. And right now the table is sitting on the one chair that I have with arms on it, and put some towels on it. Unfortunately, I found a guy that has seen this type of stuff before, and he's willing to come out and, put it back together again.
That's what you get for buying furniture at IKEA.
Yeah, well,
This is-
it
This is
could
my
also be.
mother-in-law's table.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like an antique. It looks like a
Yeah.
beautiful table.
Yeah,
It is, it seats 8 people, but I've had 10 at the table. It's a good table, but.
You just need-
you know,
You can send Rich the bill.
yeah, there you go. This is,
Oh, this
Russ,
is on tape, guys.
I didn't say he'd pay it, Rich.
Russ, this is one of the smallest warrants that I've
I
had.
know,
since
that's what I was
the Finance
saying.
Committee. I
Really
mean, what's
is.
going,
Yeah,
but whatever. Anyway, so, Jackie, just to bring you just quickly up to date, we voted 7-0 on Article 12, 2-4-1 on Article 13A, and 7-0 on Article 13B. Just so you are aware of what we've done. And we started out right at the beginning to discuss if we can, for next year, over the year, take a look at that audit that the state did and so forth. I think it was well done, but kind of discuss that and go through that is one of the things I'd like to add on to kind of ongoing things that we're doing in the Finance Committee. I thought the audit itself, when I read it, was great. I mean, auditors always look to try and find something to justify their fees, but whatever. And I think, and if we can, and I'll write to Lori and I'll copy Rich and copy you to ask, because I guess if we can get this stuff into the printed warrant before it goes to the printer, to add Roy's name on the bottom of the signature block of our statement, and then these 3 votes can go in there, and we'll be set. Does anyone have any other new business they want to raise?
Jerry, I
All
just have an announcement.
Yes. Yes.
Karen Erdos has decided to fully retire this time around. Her last day with
Okay.
the town will be June 12th. Just wanted to let you know that we've advertised for her position, and we'll let you know how that turns out.
Well, Karen, I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
It's been
Karen
great.
has done the minutes and we've had weekly meetings and we've gotten the minutes out and so forth. So all I can say, we're sad you're going. It's wonderful that you're going to retire. And all I can say is I hope your retirement is as great as mine has been so far.
Great.
So you're telling her to go on to a finance committee?
Well, she can. I will go on this one. I don't know if I'd want to be on finance committees in some other towns. Remember that, and I won't point any out.
Yeah, she lives in Brewster.
He lives in Brewster? Okay.
Yes.
I won't say any more on that. All right. If I hear nothing else, this is great. I will notice a meeting for Saturday, June 12th. And I don't know exactly how to do it with a rain date, but I'll figure it out. We won't have a meeting on June 9th, and our meeting on the 12th will be 1/2 hour before, so 9:30 a.m. in case there's any changes and any motions coming through, so we can make a statement what our recommendation would be for the changes. And other than that, that's it. Let's hear do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
move we
adjourn.
I heard Russ first, okay, and Rick, you said, so will you second it, Rick?
Yes, I was seconding.
Okay. All right, let's see, the vote, Mary,
Aye.
Russ,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
George,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Roy,
Yes.
Jerry, and again, a welcome aboard, Roy. We're glad you're here. And to all of you, enjoy. We'll see you at the town meeting.